Hey guys, this is Bit from Set 3 and Pass, and as you know, it's a new format. Tournaments are dead. They've been banned the heck out of the format. I'm sure some people will still play and make it work, and I'm sure someone will top with tournaments. But for now, let's at least take a deep breath and sigh that no longer tournaments is here. You're not going to be playing 10 tournaments decks at locals. Well, you might, but not at mine. Today I'm excited to bring you a deck profile using Scareclaw. Essentially, this is one of the personas for Visas Starfrost, just like how Trelement's Rhinoheart is, and you can tell because they have 1500 attack and 2100 defense, and Visas Starfrost literally has 2100 attack and 1500 defense, so it's the other way around. So before we get into this profile, just a bit of a caveat. I played this at locals. I went 3-2. I think I beat 2 Kashtira's, 1 Despia, I lost to a Despia, and I lost to a random pile deck. It was just a weird Madolche pile deck with Adventure Engine in it. It was strange, but he did really well, so hats off to that guy. But the deck did really good. Most of the times people didn't know what the monsters did and they had to read, but reading is key in this game. So anyway, like, share and subscribe to the video. Comment on it if you want any combo videos or test hands with this deck. Really excited to bring you this deck because it is one I've been playing online a bit, and you know how much I don't like online, but it's one of those things where you have to test the new cards. Let's begin. So you want to play 3 Scareclaw Reichharts, and if you don't know, all of the Scareclaw monsters except Scareclaw Kashtira, you can special summon this in a column or adjacent to another Scareclaw monster. And what this guy does is, if he's normal or special summoned, you search your deck for a Scareclaw spell or trap, add it to your hand, and if there are in total 3 defense monsters, you can essentially draw a card. And it doesn't matter where the defense position monsters are, they just have to be on the field. So if your opponent's got 2, you essentially normal summon or special summon him with the Scareclaw, and you get to draw a card. So search and draw, it's not bad at all. Then you want to play 3 Acro. Essentially, he gives 300 attack for every defense position monster you control to one of your link monsters, essentially your Scareclaw link monster. Then you have Astra. Now Astra gives your Scareclaw monster that's in the link zone extra monster zone, multiple attacks up to the number of Scareclaw monsters you control, and it has to be different named. So essentially you always want to get Astra on the field and Acro on the field, and you're pretty much set to OTK. Then we play the 2 Balone. There's no reason to play 3 Balone. Essentially, it just does piercing. Normally, you want to use this card as an extender to go into your Scareclaw and maybe go for OTK if they have something in defense mode. But yeah, 2 Balone is good. And then the new card, Scareclaw Kashtira. Essentially, this is an awesome card. This is part of the OTK combo because it can attack in defense and it has 2600 attack. And the cool thing about this card is, essentially, if a Kashtira or a Scareclaw monster battles an opponent's monster, the monster's effects are negated until the end of the turn, so it kind of beats over stuff like, what's it called, Avamax, and other things that have effects. So this sort of just destroys, or negates it anyway. Okay, and that's it for the Scareclaw monsters. For the spell, running 2 of the field spell. Now the field spell is pretty cool. When it's on activation, you get a Scareclaw monster or Visas Starfrost from your deck to your hand, you get to search. And then all monsters your opponents control lose 100 attack and defense, so every defense monster on the field. And if there are 3 or more, you get a free pop. And you can only use that effect once per turn. You can only activate 1 of these per turn, which is good. And then I play the 2 Arrival. Essentially, this card is the monster reborn of the archetype. It lets you reborn a Scareclaw monster or a Visas Starfrost and special summon it in defense position. And then if one of your link monsters is about to be destroyed by battle or card effect, essentially you can just banish this from your grave and it protects it against destruction. And it's not even like that comes up a lot, and people don't even realize that, so they have to be careful. And then from the new set, I'm playing 1 Defanging. Now Defanging is absolutely cracked. Essentially, it's a continuous spell. Your opponent cannot target Scareclaw link monsters or Visas Starfrost with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then you can banish any monster that is in a battle with one of your Scareclaw Link monsters of Visas Starfrost. They just get banished if they're destroyed. And also you can banish one Scareclaw monster from your graveyard, and then you can target one card your opponent controls and basically just banish it, which is amazing. Sorry, not banish, destroy. So that's pretty good as well, which is absolutely insane. Right, and the last one, which is the Twin Saw. Now, Twin Saw, it has two effects. One effect is you tribute one Scareclaw monster, and then you target two cards your opponent's controls and destroy them. And if you do, and if you control a Visas Starfrost, you can banish them instead of destroying them and sending them to a graveyard. If a link 3 or higher monster is on the field, you can banish this card from the graveyard, and for the rest of the turn, neither player can activate the effects of link monsters. So it kind of just turns off link monsters, which is insane. So one of the things to think about is if they go into an access code, you essentially let them summon access code, and they can activate access code's effect. If they're turn player, you can't really respond, but once they gain access code's effect to gain attack, you have the window to respond, and you essentially banish this, and the access code can't really pop anything anymore. Okay, so the other engine I play in this deck are the Water Enchantress, the Adventure Engine. I think Adventure Engine in this deck is mandatory. These are kind of cheap. They're suddenly rising up in price because people are playing it a lot more, but the Adventure Engine is definitely good for this deck because this deck lacks negates, Omni negates, so essentially having an Adventure Engine just secures you that one Omni negate in the form of Griffin, so you can sort of go into your combos. 3 right, the Faithful, and the 1 Draco back, the Wandering Griffin, and I also play Illegal Knight. Now, Illegal Knight is probably the MVP of this deck because it's absolutely insane. Because you can, if you control no monsters or a token, essentially special summon it, and you can activate its effect to give this to your opponent, and you can bounce 2 cards back. And then if you have the Draco back, you essentially activate Draco back, get this back into your hand, then you've got another sort of removal for the next turn. So this is a very good combo, and actually that's how I won some of my games versus opponents, sending things back, going for the OTK. And then the one-offs, I play 1 Duster, 1 Reinforcement. Reinforcement essentially is a 4th copy of Reichardt. You can essentially just combo off that, get Reichardt, so that's the 4th copy. And Duster is for decks like Labyrinth, just back row decks, because a lot of people play back row, and it's pretty good against, Sword Soul is making a comeback as well, so it's kind of good to sort of just get rid. For Wanderees as well, this is really good just to get rid of their trap card and their map. I didn't really run into any Wanderees players, but it just depends on your locals. I would say these 2 are the flex spots. And for the Adventure Engine, you could essentially play 2 right, 2 Water Enchantress. So essentially you've got, let's say you've got 4 flex spots in this deck if you wanted to change this deck list up a bit. Because I think you can get away with 2 Enchantress and 2 rights. I don't think you need a 3. I just put a 3 because I was testing and I wanted consistency, and the deck performed really well. Now for the hand traps, this format, Ash is amazing. I hit a Despia player, hit the Branded Fusion, they had no play and they skipped their turn, they just passed. So, this is absolutely insane in today's format. Just be careful, if you're playing against Despia, if you do Ash their Branded Fusion, if they're running the Fusion Deployment package and Cartesia, they can still essentially sort of combo. So you want to be careful how you use Ash in this format. They've got great utility in the form of Cartesia and Fusion Deployment, so 1 Ash really it might not really stop their play, but the fact that you can stop their play if they don't have Fusion Deployment is really good. And this is a common now in the Trap Trick structure deck. 3 Imperm. Why Imperm? Because Ash and Imperm, they don't really activate the triple tactics thrust, because a lot of people are going to be playing that. So essentially, this sort of is playing around it, because the last thing you want is for them to search any spell or trap card in their deck, which is insane. And this is also a mandatory Book of Eclipse, just because Kashtira is a thing, so you want to run Book of Eclipse. Just be careful, because this can be ashed, and also a lot of people don't actually read cards, so there's been a lot of weird things going on at locals. So you can Ash Book of Eclipse, but just remember that in the end phase, when your opponent's about to draw, you have to flip monsters that will change into face-up defense position at the end of the turn. There's no face-up defense position monsters. I don't think you can actually draw. I'm pretty sure someone essentially drew cards after I destroyed the monsters, which, you know, is not fun, but that's just something you live and learn. And that's about it for the main deck. So the main deck is about 40 cards, no more, no less. I've tried to sort of optimize it for 40. I didn't want to run any more. I didn't really want to run any bricks, and even then, you know, you've got 36 cards and you've got those flex spots, those 4 flex spots, 5, sorry, 4 flex spots where you can change however you want. So there's so much room in this deck to do as you want. Right, now for the extra deck monsters, I run 3 Lightheart. I used to run 2, but the third one actually came up in the locals, so I was happy to run this. Essentially, you know, at worst, he's basically another body, and at best you get the field spell, and then this goes to the grave, and you can use Defanging to essentially remove something from their field. You're going to play 3 Tryheart, which is an absolute beast of a card, a beast warrior of a card. This card is insane. So it's any 3 effect monsters, and it has to be link summoned, and then every single monster on the field is changed to defense position, and this person, this Tryheart, is unaffected by defense position monsters, which is insane because you can't even Zeus this card, because they summon Zeus, Zeus goes into defense, they activate Zeus, and he's unaffected by anything in defense mode. So Zeus will clear the field except for him, which is insane. And also his other effect is, if he's in the extra monster zone, you can target 1 level 3 a Scareclaw in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you can add 1 Scareclaw from your deck to your hand, and you can only use that once every turn. So essentially the bread and butter is you have him out, you activate effect to get one of the level 3s. So let's say you get Balone out. Well, the best one to get is Astra, because Astra lets him attack. And then what you do is you use the second ability to search out a Reichardt, and a Reichardt lets you go on for the next turn, so you sort of got resources for the next turn. And this guy can attack with an Astra, can attack twice, so that's 3k attacking twice. If you had another card, that's essentially 3,000 times 3, that's 9k, so you know, you're sort of going full game when you have Tryheart on the field. And a lot of people just sort of focus on negating their opponent and stopping their opponent play, where this is just like, you know, you just want to, it's very aggressive, this deck. And then these are the utility cards. So I play 1 Ling Karibo, essentially play him because people are running Ibli in the Kashtira lock, so that gets rid of Ibli. 1 Dark, because everything is dark. I do want to get the Earth Charmer, just because for Kashtira, so this will probably get replaced by that. Play Cherubini, just in case I don't have, I want to go into the Adventure Engine using any of my Scareclaws, because the other Scareclaws, aside from Reichardt and Kashtira Scareclaw, all level 3s. So essentially I can go into Cherubini, dump the Adventure Enchantress, and then essentially just go into Adventure Engine. The IP, the Nightmare Phoenix, the Nightmare Unicorn, Access Code, which I've never gone into, the Appaloosa, which I've never gone into, but usually the end board would be IP, ready to go into Appaloosa. So I've got an Appaloosa that's protected by Masquerader's effect, and also has at least 2 to 3 negates. And the last one is essentially a flex spot, but one of my friends who plays this deck got me onto this card, the number 75, because all the small Scareclaws are level 3, so essentially go into level 3, they activate Nib, you activate that, and both of you draw a card, which is really good. So that's the extra deck, guys. I'm going to show you the side deck that I played. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's the side deck is whatever your locals are at. I didn't know what I was going to face on the locals, but I knew I was going to face plenty of Sword Soul, plenty of Despia, plenty of Kashtira. So I played 3 Nib. I might actually put this in the main deck. This card is insane, this format. People are playing around it, people are not respecting it, but definitely I think I'll be putting this into the main. Cosmic Cyclone, just because we have flu players, so essentially, you hit the field spell as they activate it, and then if it's not longer face up, you know, it gets rid of it. Just bear in mind they can get it back just because they have Toucan, but you know, it does stop their play for one turn. And also you can get rid of the trap in the standby phase, so they can't actually force you to, you know, you're kind of forcing them to do things. This card was not that great, Dark Ruler no more, just because it doesn't turn off Shangri-Ira. I might change this to something else, maybe Droll. I think Droll might be good this format. Played 3 Lightning Storm, one of the best cards in the format I think at the moment, just because Labyrinth is running wild and Trap Tricks is also going to be running wild. So yeah, and 3 Evenly Matched, which is an insane card as well this format. So that's the side deck. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, that profile, and again, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see some test hands and combo videos, you know, post down below. I'll be more than happy to post it up if there's enough interest in it, and I'll also be posting up some other deck profiles, so look out for those. You know, turn that notification bell on, and yeah, till next time, this is Bit out.